Good morning, all.
Hello? Good morning, sir. Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, our facilitator is there. Good morning. Let me check to be sure Tayo is also here. Okay.
I'm here, my PDG. Good morning.
Oh, good morning. Yeah. We have just about 20 participants here. Oof. Well, good morning, fellow Rotarians and my dear facilitators, our district governor, and of course, the coordinator, deputy district trainer, rather, this deputy district facilitator. I'm on the road. That was why we are a little bit late. But of course, that one said should start in another 2 minutes. Let me just get everything settled. 2 minutes. Wow. Today, we have the next in the series of online seminar, which is aimed at assisting our fellow Rotarians to getting information and acquiring knowledge on various aspects of Rotary. For this month of October, which is the month dedicated for service to Rotary, when we talk about community economic development, we have been able to put together two of our Rotarians, experienced Rotarians for that matter, to talk to us on building strong communities, and then also to remind us on how we need to observe the various protocols as far as Rotary International is concerned, and when we are at various functions and various programs of our organization, Rotary. A number of times, our Rotarians do miss those points, but as Rotarians, we need to be up and doing and get those things right, especially when we are not only in the Rotary functions, but even when we are talking within the various areas where our expertise is required. So for today, we have two facilitators. The first one is the Deputy District Learning Facilitator, who is a past president of Rotary Club of VGC, now a member of Rotary Club of Lekki Central. And then we also have the in the person of Rotarian Uyi Shoabi. And we also have with us a past assistant governor and immediate past district executive secretary, Tayo Adelaja of the Rotary Club of Bagada. Of course, our ever agile and ready district governor is also with us in the person of Rotary Femi Adeneko. Without wasting much of our time, I would like to call on our district governor. I know he's a very, very busy man, and we all know that. He's even on the way to a visit today somewhere in Ogun State, and he's still being able to find time to join us on this program for this morning. So let me welcome all of you, and at the same time, ask our district governor, Rotary Femi Adeneko, to please give his opening remarks, and then we take it up from there. Thank you. Adiji. Hello? Gigi. Hello? 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 Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me?
We can hear you, sir. We can hear you.
Okay.
But I think the DG has gone off. I think the DG
he has gone off.
Yes, I'm here now.
Okay. Okay. Yes, let's welcome our district governor, and we urge you to please, I know you are on the road, we'll manage it as it is. Please give us some your opening remarks, and then we'll be able to take it up from there, sir.
Okay, thank you, my district learning facilitator, the deputy district learning facilitator, who incidentally is also one of the facilitators for today's event. The past assistant Tayo Adelaja, the past district executive secretary, fellow Rotarians, guests, and friends. Well, as said by good morning to all of us, as said by the district learning facilitator, I'm on the road towards Ijebu for a district governor's visitation and also for installation. So you bear with me. You might be having interferences of the routing of cars. I want to sincerely welcome us to the fourth in the series of our training, online facilitation, which we have started every July at every first Saturday of the month. This becomes necessary. It is a program we inherit, and it becomes very necessary to enlighten Rotarians. As raised by the DLF, District Learning Facilitation, it is very important that we know basic things, especially in this month of community economic development, where we are expected to carry out impactful and effective projects and how best to harness it. I would just want us to relax and listen to our seasoned facilitator, PhD, will be on that. Also, I want to also let us know I've encountered this. The protocol of Rotary has always been abused. There are situations when the president ought to be recognized first. The Rotarians will recognize the DG. Say, for instance, at a visit to a club, it is the club's president that I feel should be recognized. But PhD Tayo Adela on that. So I urge you to sit down, relax, let us drink from their fountain of knowledge and get impacted with what they have prepared for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, District Governor. We thank you. God will continue to strengthen you as you lead us and, of course, navigate the various clubs and areas of our vast district. Thank you, sir. Well, we have two speakers for today. The first speaker is a past assistant governor, a past president, and currently she is the deputy district learning facilitator for this Rotary year. She's experienced, she's also very, very agile and a faculty member of the Rotary Learning Institute for our district 9112. She's knowledgeable and she has facilitated a number of topics. But particularly for today, she has been invited to share her wealth of knowledge with us on building strong communities. Building strong communities. My district governor, fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, guests, please join me in welcoming Rotarian Uyi Shoabi as she takes us through in the next 20 minutes on the topic, building strong communities. Over to you, Uyi.
Thank you very much, sir. My district governor, fellow Rotarians, good morning. I'm honored to be invited to speak on this topic, building strong communities. So we'll go very fast so that I can make use of my 20 minutes very well. So the topic, again, is building strong communities. How we can strengthen ourselves for productive work. The next slide, let's just quickly remind ourselves of the Rotary areas of focus. We can recite it. All of us can do that, and although some of us don't, so that's why I brought it out. So we know that Rotary Foundation have adopted 7 areas of focus as the organization's priorities. We already know them, as I said. And one of them is community economic development, which is the theme for this month. Rotary is aware that creating productive employment opportunities is essential for reducing poverty and achieving sustainable economic and social development, and for providing income security and empowerment, especially for women, for people with disability, for youth, and extremely poor people. So why do we need to build strong communities? Why do we need to build strong communities? In the words of Jane Addams, I'm quoting, which says, the good we secure for ourselves. Please, next slide. The good we secure for ourselves is precarious and uncertain until it is secured for all of us and incorporated into our common lives. Let me repeat that. The good we secure for ourselves is precarious and uncertain until it is secured for all of us and incorporated into our common life. So let's look at this. So there's so much poverty around us in a blessed world, in a world where we're placed. Next slide. The person who is helping us with the slide, please be inside the training so you can follow us. Next slide, please. There's so much poverty around us in the blessed world. We know that. Why is she like this now? Please go back. Thank you. We're about 8 billion in the world. Out of this 8 billion, about 3.5 billion people are employed. That's our work. We're not talking about those who are not employed at all. But in these 3.5 billion people, nearly half of them live on less than $2 per day, which is not okay at all. Next slide, please. So a strong community means happier living, more stable supporting society for all. So mark the word strong community. When we have strong community, we have a good society, we have more stable supporting society for all of us. Next slide, please. The stronger your community grows, the more power you have to change the world. So it's about community, community, community. So you have to get involved in your community, grow them, nurture them, nourish them, and help them to become what you want for the world. Next slide, please. So how can we, please, next slide. How can we develop opportunities for productive work in Nigerian communities? How can we develop opportunities for productive work in Nigerian communities? Number one, we have to be purposeful. Next slide. We have to be purposeful. That is, we have to determine. We have to show determination. Or we have to resolve that, look, this is what I want to do and I have to do it. Please, that's not the slide. Go back. So, we have to be purposeful. Number one, make poverty alleviation a center of our strategy. The center of our strategy, you have to think poverty alleviation. You have to think that should be on your mind. That should be your focal point. Develop opportunities for productive work. Reduce poverty in underserved communities. That's the purpose. That's what you have resolved to do. Support studies related to economic and community development. Build the capacity of entrepreneurs, leaders, organizations, and network in the community. These are the groundwork you have to do. You have to propose in your heart that this I want to do. Because if you want us to do it like, okay, it's polio day, let's say, what are we going to do? No, you have to think that this is what I want to do. This particular community or this particular clan, I have to make something work. You have to propose in your heart and discuss in your meeting that I want to do this. And these are the list of things you have to go through. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Number two, you have to be insightful. You have to have a deep understanding. You have to have accurate understanding of what you're going to do. One, do surveys in your community to identify the most needed area of intervention. Now, we've been hearing of needs assessment. And in this needs assessment, there are various ways to carry out needs assessment. You can do survey, you can talk to some groups, either women or the youth, you can talk to CDA. There are various ways of doing, needs assessment. So employ research tools to uncover unspoken and unperceived needs of the community. They may not tell you, They may hide some things. They may not say that they need toilet, for example, so that you will not say they are the ones that have been polluting the area. Not at all. You have to engage in some tools, use some tools to be able to identify the needs. Set prospective beneficiaries of your program through counseling before investing in them. Now, while you're doing this, you have to also talk to them. Talk to them, counsel them, develop their mind on what you intend to do. Next slide, please. Yes, then be strategic. Be tactical about it. Look at the long term of it all. The overall end. What do you want to achieve? We have heard of strategic plan. This is more like it. Motivate prospective beneficiaries to have a change of mindset. Don't let them look at you as one of the politicians that have come to buy votes. That's why you have come into the community to help. No. That's why I said speak with them. Be insightful. Gather them. You can gather different groups, different age groups, different social groups, talk to them. Focus on delivering practical, useful skills for which the beneficiaries can employ themselves. Now, you can say, okay, there's no job about town anymore. Companies are not employing because of the economic situation in the country. Yes, but how can they employ themselves? So when you're helping them, think of what you can help them with that can make them to be self-employed. Do not just give money to someone who has no training or experience. No. Now I've heard of empowerment. We are doing, and my club is doing empowerment program. Empowerment program, you just go into the streets and start giving money to people. No. You will not get much result out of that. You can help somebody eat now, but how about the future? So you're thinking about the future. How would that person help himself? So you can take them through training. Train them first. Talk to them. Then you now know that, okay, this money you're investing in this one will go a long way to support him, not just him. He will also be able to support people. I know somebody in my former club, who trains people in his hometown. And before he sends them money, or before he gives them money or send them to school or give them scholarships, he will gather them with their family, talk to them. Look, this is what I'm doing for you. When you come back, take another child from another family and do the same thing. And that has been going on. I'm not going to mention the name. You want to know the name, please me privately. But that is still going on until today. The person is 80-something years old now. Next slide, please. The next one is partner with professional association. There's no point in training unemployed graduates and yet they have no job. Yes, we can conduct all sorts of training for them. Please, let's make sure as we train them, we know where to send them. Now there's so much need on cybersecurity. For example, they need people in that area. Why can't we go to either a school within the community, or we go to a community and get somebody who is having difficulty going to school? Get him out. It should not be something you want to do. This is my year. This is what I want to do. No, you cannot achieve that kind of thing in 1 year. Get the person out. Train the person. My club is interested in empowering somebody who is interested in cybersecurity. I'm just using it as an example. We'll train you through school, because we have partnership with maybe MTN, maybe AL and this and that, and they are waiting. So you have partnership with them. So you train these groups of graduates and send them there. They'll be happy because it's difficult to get people on that line. The strategy is to partner with those who can give the jobs. After you have trained these people, they can get the jobs. Find out what the market needs. Then prepare a batch for that need. Focus on getting them internships that will fulfill the need. I believe this is well listed out. The next slide, please. So now, how can we support job creation and entrepreneurship? How can we do this? One, partner with a cooperative that provides training, joint economic ventures, and ownership of assets to its members through a democratic structure. Now, I'll just brush through this. For example, like maybe Ekpe, let's say Ekpe, the fishing place or the fishing people in Ekpe. You can go there, they fish, they fish, they dry the fish and they sell. And some people come from very far places to buy. But you can also help them. Instead of drying these fish for weeks before being able to sell them, provide the machinery for drying the fish in minutes, in hours, within hours. And they queue for it. So such that their fish will not spoil. And after that, you help them with that, show them how to do packaging, get them trained on how to package their products and bring them out to bigger markets. You can even get people that will buy off from them, so they don't even have to leave that place. Buy off from them and put in various markets, supermarkets, and so on. So these are some of the things you can do. Provide equipment or supplies to a cooperative to increase production and sales in local markets. Next slide, please. Now, the next one is send a vocational training team to teach business leaders in developing communities how to create a business plan and maintain accurate financial accounting. This is very important. This is very, very important. It's not like, okay, we want to buy fish, okay, take, buy. Okay, sell. Okay, we have sold. Okay, let's eat. No. Let them know how to maintain their financial book, how to know how much money is going into business, how much is coming out, how much they're spending, how much they're putting here and there, how much they're saving for, bigger projects. Expand vocational training opportunities, including job placement programming at local non-profit organizations. Okay, sorry, please, let me just think of it. Next slide, please. So let's look at examples of projects that the Rotary Foundation encouraged us to do from this month. Number one, access to financial services for the poor. Example, microcredit. I believe some of our clubs have been carrying out this project. Microcredit is very important. When I participated in Friendship Exchange in Kenya, we went to a village where a Rotary Club has been giving that community, the women in that community, microcredit for years, for about 15 years as at then. They will bring the money back after 1 year and pay the interest, and they will give it back to them, to empower them to re-engage into the business, and then that's how it has been going. Next one is training related to community economic development. Training. It's going to cost money. It may also cost us a little bit of time, but we have to do it if we want to create impact. If we want to meet up with one of the Rotary's strategic plan. If you want to take time, entrepreneurship, community leadership, vocational and financial literacy. Let's gather these people once in a while, train them on all these things. When you enter a community to start a project, you don't just leave them. You can't. Number one, set up a community call there to be your eyes in that community and on your project, so that you know that this project you're not going to fail. And I know with all these ones, you can also obtain or apply for grants, global grants for for it. Next one, next slide, please. Small business, cooperative, social enterprise development, and income generating activities for the poor. Example, the organization of village-wide businesses that provide employment, that employ many people in the community. Number 4, agricultural development for subsistence and small farmers, the facilitation of access to market. I think these are self-explanatory. Think about this. These are some of examples that you can easily lay your hands on, write something, and you get into it. Now, before I read the last one, if you go to there's a website called matchinggrants.org. You can go there, you look at projects that different clubs have carried out or are about to carry out. You read about it, you can copy. Come and replicate it in your own community or in your club. The last one, number 5, community-led and coordinated adopt a village or comprehensive community development activities. Some years back, Rotary has been preaching about adopt a village, adopt a village, adopt a village. It's irrelevant because if you want to create impact, you have to show yourself in your community. Let them know you. Let them be able to come to you and say, okay, this is what I have, through your community core. Establish community core. If you're not the eye in that village, somebody can be for you. And that way, you'll be able to get your project easily carried out. So we're coming to the end of this, my talk. I don't want to take too much time. So let's look at the next slide as we conclude. Let's note, next slide please, the work of Rotary begins in the community. And every community has its own unique needs and concerns. Community economic development is one such area of focus that Rotary has asked all the clubs to focus on, especially in this month of October. So, what is your club doing? What is your club planning? Today is the 5th of October. What are you doing? So we'll take questions. I believe the questions will come at the end of this event, so we don't take too much time. I'll still be here. So as I ask you, what is your club doing? You are the answer. Thank you very much, my distinguished Rotarians, for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Past Assistant Governor Showobi. That was very, very brief and straight to the point. We thank you for giving us, providing us with the insight into how to build strong communities, especially as regards our service project deliveries to the various communities that we serve. I know there will be questions and I know there will be comments. I will plead with you to note your questions and your comments till the end of the session so that we can take all comments and questions together. The next in the series is the presentation by another distinguished Rotarian and a past assistant governor and a immediate past district executive secretary for our district 9112. A number of times we have Rotarians struggling to do what I call the protocol. And I don't want to preempt what he's going to say, but protocol in Rotary is very, very important. It is documented even on Rotary International website, but a number of times our fellow Rotarians do not get it right. How do we go about it? How do we resolve that challenge? We have a past president of Rotary Club of Bagada, an award-winning past president, a distinguished Rotarian who has paid his dues, not dues in terms of money, but in terms of sacrifices and opportunities that he has been able to use to serve humanity in various aspects. He started as a Rotarian in Rotary Club of Okeono-Egba and moved to Rotary Club of Bagada, and since then he has been on the move in terms of his delivery of his Rotary activities. Distinguished Rotarians, fellow Rotarians and Rotaractors, please join me in welcoming to the mic our immediate past District Executive Secretary and a past Assistant Governor for that matter, Rotarian Tayo Adelaja, as he takes us through the topic, protocols, Rotary protocols. Over to you, sir. Rotarian Adelaja.
Thank you very much, District Learning Facilitator, for that amplification of my person. So I was at the point I was just wondering whether I was the one you were talking about. But it's okay. Thank you so much once again. So let's get down to business, fellow Rotarians. So I'll start by recognizing our district governor and the district learning facilitator. You are recognized. The deputy learning facilitator, who is equally a co-facilitator today, Rotarian Oyeshobi, I sincerely appreciate and recognize you. Fellow Rotarians, so just like it's been rightly said, yes, Rotary protocols for that matter, in any setting, is something that is taken very seriously and taken with bit of passion. Sometimes it comes with emotions. If you are in the government setting and you commit a breach of protocol, the way everybody will look at you and will want to roast you, and you just wonder that what is this that we're talking about. But of course, for us in Rotary, right, we take protocols seriously, not because if you get it right, anybody is going to point a gun at you. No, not exactly. But you want to belong to a setting, and you're able to do things right in that setting. So, I mean, if we'll talk about grammar or academics, protocol, by way of definition, is a system of rules that explain the correct conduct and procedures to be followed in formal situations and settings. Rotary protocols are not exceptions, actually. Rotary protocols are order of greetings and recognitions during official Rotary functions and ceremonies. Right. So that's basic. I mean, this is where we are. So how do we conduct ourselves? How do we do things? And that is what this is actually talking about. So let's go to the next slide, please. So for protocols, we have some basic principles, and then we'll discuss. Can you go to the next slide? Go to the next slide, please. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
On the next slide.
Yes, please.
Principles.
Yes,
Yes, that's
yes,
that's the principle.
Yes, sir, it's on that slide.
Okay, fine. So there are some, I've seen Rotarians that, new Rotarians, even some old Rotarians that they are not able to do the protocols right, and they feel bad. They feel quite terrible about it when they see the reactions that people will put up to them. So as much as possible, I actually don't encourage people creating some funny signs when somebody is not getting something right. But for you as a Rotarian, it's important for you to strive to get it right. So there are some basic principles that you need to know in getting the trick about protocols. And the number one of it is the meeting type. The meeting type is now talking about, is it a club meeting? Is this a district meeting? And is this a zonal or Rotary International meeting? So that is the first principle of it. You have to be, as a Rotarian, you have to be able to know which event is this actually. Is this a club event? Is this a district event? And beyond the district, is this a Rotary International or a zonal institute or whatever for that matter? That is the first principle. And the second principle, right, is that in all settings, you recognize the current first, current. That is the current DG, even if we have other past DGs that are way older, that have served for donkey years, the current is recognized first. After the current, you go to the future. That is when you would hear us say DG, DGE, DGN, DGND. You go to the future in that order before you come to the past. So that is the second principle. The first principle is to know the meeting type. Then the second one is to know, right, the current, future, and past. Then the third principle, right, will be for you to know in that setting, is there a state functionary? A state functionary in this case would mean like maybe there is a governor, a state governor who is present, or there is a commissioner, or there is a Senate president, or there is a speaker or honorable member of the House. So that is what is meant by a state functionary. And of course, the last principle would then be that you imagine if there's a guest speaker or a special guest. So you need to just know all this in any setting that you find yourself. I mean, we have special guests that we bring into our clubs. We have, sometimes we have royal fathers visit our clubs. So those will come under this. So let's go to the next slide. Thanks. So practices, right? Practices will be one, how do we deal with if we are talking about club meetings? How do we deal with if we are talking about district meetings? And how do we deal with protocol if we are talking about Rotary International activities? So we're going to start with talking about the club meetings. For club meetings, I mean, we can't negotiate that enough. We can't talk about that enough. The president is the person who is recognized first. The president is the one that is recognized first, or the presiding president, as the case may be. For instance, if the president is not available at that meeting, and maybe the vice president is having to preside over the meeting, or the immediate past president, or any other person for that matter, that is the person that is recognized first in the Rotary meetings. Yes, I know that because of this idea of first class president, opportunities president, irresistible president, or magician presidents, or whatever, a lot of people have serious issues in trying to deal with this. So for me, really, yeah, the president is the president. So the Rotary president or Rotarian president, that is the first person, or the presiding president. So now the next person, naturally, if, for instance, the district governor is in attendance, then we have the district governor coming into the next person you have to recognize if he's in attendance at that meeting. Then next, actually, is if there is a state functionary. Let's just imagine that the governor of Lagos State is attending a club meeting, maybe a meeting of Rotary Club of Lagos. The governor of Lagos was invited, or it's a investiture or something that has to do with the club. When I say meetings this time around, by the way, right? When I say club meetings, yes, will include our fellowship, will include investiture, or any activity that is being conducted by the club. That is club meeting. That's regarded as a club meeting. So let's not just look at it in a straitjacket manner, like I'm talking about just the fellowship meeting. No, please. It can be anything that the club is doing. It can be maybe commissioning of project or what have you. Those are club meetings. So if there is a state functionary that is present ideally, we should recognize the head of the state functionary at this point after the district governor. If a governor of a state is present, I mean, when you mention the district governor, the next person is to mention Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu and all that. So not that you now go to talking about the commissioner, the this, the that, then you identify the leading state functionary in attendance, the leading, then you recognize the leading. So after that, if the DGE is present, it comes next. If the DGN is present, it comes next. Because imagine if it's a DG's visit to a club and you have the DG and the DGN accompanying the district governor, then you recognize them in that order. So following that, you will then come back to the club. So coming back to the club now, you then talk about the future of the club, president-elect, president nominee, right? And if you have present in that setting a guest speaker, you mentioned the guest speaker naturally at that point, past district governors, if they are there, if the club that is loaded with past district governors, or you have some in attendance, they come in handy at this point. You mentioned them next. Then after then, you mention fellow Rotarians. So for those of us that attended the Mauritius Institute that just got concluded, we were reminded so much of the place of Rotaractor in Rotary as an organization as we are currently, and the feedback that are coming from Rotaractors all over Africa about they are not being given their pride of place as much as possible. So we encourage clubs that after you recognize fellow Rotarians, if there is any Rotaractor or group of Rotaractors present, they have to be well called out as fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, before you then go to guests and friends. So that is it as far the practice, as far as the club meetings is concerned. So let's go to the next slide so that we look at the district meetings. Next slide, please.
Sorry, sir, there was a network issue. I'm trying to get back.
Okay, just go to district meetings.
All right, I'm there, sir. All right, sir.
Okay, district meetings. So, I mean, it's there's, as far as district meetings are concerned, and of course, I already, no, okay, no, the one slide, go back one slide. District meetings. So, as far as district meeting is concerned, we already mentioned that meetings in this case means every activity that is conducted at the district level. What we are doing today is a district meeting because a district event, DG's investiture, all the activities that we do at the district office, those are district meetings. So naturally, the district governor comes in as the first person to be recognized in this case, right? So, and going back to the issue of state functionary, if we have like a high-ranking state functionary present, like a governor of a state, he will naturally come after the district governor, right? Then we then go to the DGE, the DGN, before we then come to the past district governors. Remember the principles that we mentioned, the second principle, after identifying what event actually are we talking about, one meeting, then you then talk about the future before you come back to the past. So you mentioned you mentioned the past district governors after the DGN. And if you have a DGND, because in some months within the Rotary year, you know that we have DGND. So the DNG will come if present at this point, even before the past district governors. If we have a DGN, it would come at that time, right? So after them, in a district event like things that we do at the district offices, the club presidents are present. So they will come after the past district governors. You recognize all club presidents in attendance. So after then, you go to guest speaker or special guest of honor. If you have a royal father who is present, you go to him at that point. Before you then come to fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, guests, and friends of the Rotary family, as it goes like that. So now, for Rotary International itself, let's say it's at the zonal level, beyond the district, you recall that DGN Lai Abidoye posted the protocol for Rotary International meetings like 3 weeks ago or thereabout. So I'm just going to encourage the district learning team to send that again on our platform so that we don't belabor that. Protocols as far as Rotary International meetings are concerned. But it does follow this principle first. The same principle that we have is what we follow. I mean, if it's a Rotary International event and you have the RI president present, of course, it comes, the trustees and all that. So you can refer to that. So PhD, you show up, you can help us get that and put it on the platform again to remind people, and they can have Andy. So there are other rules relating to protocols for Rotarians to note. You know, inner wheel members. Inner wheel members are wives of Rotarians, spouses of wives of Rotarians in those days, and those are the people we call Rotary hands. Rotary hands. Hand is ANN. Rotary hands. There's a story as to how wives of Rotarians became known as Rotary hands, but we can leave that for another day to talk about it. So if you have wife of any Rotarian president at that meeting, it's important to recognize them during the course of that protocol. Then secondly, of course, naturally, when addressing the district governor or the president, irrespective of who you are as a Rotarian, you have to be upstanding to address the president or the DG as the case may be. Of course, there are some exceptions, maybe board meeting, club assemblies, and depending on what your club has got in your bylaws, so you can be seated in addressing the president at that point. Maybe you're doing a board meeting or club assembly, depending on what you agree at your club level. And you know, as Nigerians, there's something we Nigerians have exported to the world, and that is all protocol, the phrase of all protocol duly observed, right? It should be avoided in Rotary. And as a Rotarian, it should be avoided if it is possible for you to avoid it. So I don't know why it's come to, I mean, when we started Rotary in those days, yeah, it's quite some time now. Yeah. You don't, when some older Rotarians hear you say all protocol duly observed, their body will cringe. You know that? It's to cringe, like, what are you saying? You know? So I still bring it up here today for Rotarians that phrase, all protocol duly observed, should be avoided totally in Rotary, should be avoided, because what we are saying is straightforward. So you don't need to say that at all. It is a no-no. If you can live by it, if you can avoid it, it is a no-no. And of course, in meetings, in Rotary meetings, we'll hammer all the time that we should avoid repetitions in order to save time, right? At the beginning of every Rotary activity, the moderator establishes the protocol, right? That is the standard. The moderator establishes the protocol. So therefore, what is expected of any speaker after then, right, is not to go through the protocol as already established. And you don't need to say that I want to stand on protocol. You don't need to say it, right? So if, for instance, we are at a club event and the secretary of the club or the president, for that matter, had established the protocol, I'll read out DG, DGN, Royal Father, this, that. Any other person who is going to speak after them should just get up and say, the Rotarian president, fellow Rotarians, guests, and friends. That is all. You don't need to say all protocol duly observed, or you want to stand or sit on the already established protocol as the case may be. Please, as Rotarians, let us know that. I know they said it's a Nigerian thing. I understand it's a Nigerian thing, and we have been able to export it successfully to different places. But as much as possible as a Rotarian, if you are going to rely on already established protocol, go ahead and just do it without saying such things. Then it's important for us to note as Rotarians too, if you have a visiting president, if you are visiting my club, the Rotary Club of Bagada, and peradventure at that meeting, the president of Rotary Club of Bagada South is equally present. Please, you have to recognize him as soon as you recognize the president of Rotary Club of Bagada, because that is a club meeting and is of equal status with the president of Rotary Club of Bagada. So, Rotarian president of Rotary Club of Bagada, Rotarian president of Rotary Club of Bagada South in attendance. That is the way to do. And the same thing for district events. If peradventure we have a visiting district governor from any location, as soon as you mention our own district governor, it's the visiting district governor that comes after him before you now go to every other thing. Even if the governor of Lagos State is present, you still mention, if assuming we're talking about a district 9112 event, after recognizing the district governor of district 9112, and we now have the district governor of district 911 in attendance, you go ahead and recognize the DG of district 9111 before you even recognize the governor of state or Lagos State, and you then go back to every other thing that we have spoken about. And imagine the place of the spouses too. We have our spouses attend our meetings and our functions. And please, it is very, very important that if the spouse of the president is available at that meeting, the spouse is mentioned just as you are mentioning the president. If you are Rotarian president and is or our amiable spouse here present, if you know the name, yes, you can mention the name. If you know the name, it's okay, it's fine to mention the name. So it is very, very important, because if you refuse to do this, right, I can tell you that your president will be deprived of something at home if you do not recognize the spouses who are present. Even if the spouses does not come up to say anything, when they get home, I mean, the wife can bring it up and say, oh, okay, so I was there and I was not recognized. I'll be okay, no problem. So next time, don't call me or don't invite me, I will not come. So it is important for us as Rotarians to know that this is very, very important. As you are recognizing the president or the district governor, as the case may be, you need to recognize the spouse if the spouse is present. Then something to note again is when you are recognizing the past district governor or past president at any event, the ideal thing is to recognize them in the order of seniority. In the order of seniority, that's the ideal thing. If you choose to recognize them one after the other, you have to, as much as possible, stick to the order of seniority. However, it is possible you don't know the order of seniority and you don't necessarily have to begin to then cause confusion by calling somebody who is ahead of this. But if you don't know the order of seniority and you still want to call them out one after the other, it is important for you to mention that I wish to recognize our past district governors who are here seated in no particular order. It is important to mention it so that there will not be any offense taken by anyone. If a district governor who has served from 10 years ago, you are now calling a district governor that served 2 years ago before him, you have already said that you are doing that recognition in no particular order. So don't assume. So we have a tendency to assume things so much. The protocols, sometimes people get emotional with it. When you read on their faces, when protocols are being read, just look at faces of people. You will see the emotion, you will see the passion. That why would he call this person before me? I mean, I'm supposed to be the first person to be called. Why is this? But of course, no offense can be taken if you have already taken an excuse ahead. And that excuse that you have taken ahead is to say that I wish to recognize our past district governor, starting from this person, that this is being done in no particular order. So that will be it as per the other rules that we need to know. So in conclusion, therefore, fellow Rotarians, right, there's a simplistic approach to this all. There's a very simplistic approach to it that you don't even need to give yourself a headache, and you will never be wrong. You will never be wrong. Yeah, it's good to do the aesthetics. yes, to call everybody to list this, to list that, and all that. But of course, as a Rotarian, you still want to do what is right without anybody looking at you in one scrawny way. So it's important for you to just know that there's a simple approach to it. And that is, one, so long as you recognize who is the presiding person in that meeting, is it a DG or a president? Then after recognizing the DG or the president, the next thing to say is fellow Rotarians. Fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, and if there is any guest, then say guest at that point. So you can never get it wrong if you refer to everybody as fellow Rotarians, because even the RI president, first and foremost, is a Rotarian before becoming RI president. The DG is a Rotarian first and foremost. The president is a Rotarian first and foremost. So you can never get it wrong if you want to play safe in this case and you don't want to go through all these issues so that you don't get it all wrong and somebody begins to blame you without even telling you, though. So for me, look at the simplistic approach, the presiding officer, fellow Rotarians, Rotaractors, guests and friends, and you can never be wrong. But if it is possible for you to do the protocol properly the way it has been set, please do it and you will enjoy doing it as a Rotarian. So fellow Rotarians, I do hope that it's been some 10 minutes well spent together in talking about Rotary Protocol. Thank you so much for your attention. We will take questions at this point if there are questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, our immediate past district secretary, past assistant governor Tayo Adelaja, for taking us through that route of how to observe the various protocols as regards Rotary functions and Rotary times and Rotary activities. Very detailed. And of course, you've put everything together in proper perspectives. And I'm sure our fellow Rotarians have picked one lesson or two from your presentation. Thank you. Yes, it's now time for questions, comments, and contributions. The way we want to handle it is that just raise up your hands, indicate, and then you'll be unmuted to give your comments or ask your question. You are free to ask questions on both topics, both on the first one presented by past Assistant Governor Uyisho Obi on building strong communities, and then this one that has just been presented by PhD Tayo Adelaja on Rotary Protocols. So over to you, my dear fellow Rotarians. Questions, comments, contribution. This is time for that. Yes, have Undu Okaro. I also have Ibrahim. Please, okay, please unmute Undu Okaro.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I believe we've just had a talk on protocol, so I don't think I should start with all the protocol so that I don't waste too much time. And let me just go straight to my question.
Yes.
Thank you for both presentations. Please, my question is, if the sitting president is unable to attend the meeting and maybe you have the vice president or maybe the secretary conduct the meeting, does the protocol, based on protocol, would we address that person as the president or would we address the person as, how do we say do we still say my Rotarian president? Or do we call, I heard PhD say the presiding president. So what is the right way to address that person if the person is not if the sitting president is not at that meeting and that person is sitting in for the president? Thank you.
Okay. Let's take another question so that you can take two at a time. We have Rotarian Ehib Raimo. Ehib, please ask your question.
Yes, thank you, my PDG and district learning facilitator. Greetings, my district governor and fellow Rotarians. My question is directed at our PAG, Oye Showobi. Listen to the microcredit scheme in Kenya that the Rotary Club there has been administering for about 15 years. I don't know whether I heard correctly, if they charge interest on those microcredit loans that they give to the community members. Are we supposed to charge interest on loans we give for microcredit? Because I know at the Rotary Club of Lagos, my club, we do not charge interest. And we've been running microcredit schemes for as long as I can remember in different markets, whether it is Okari or Sangros market or Tamaru. We have never charged interest. We give them the loan interest-free. Thank you very much.
Sir, let's take those two. I'll start with. Okay, thank you. I'll start with. Yes. Okay. Over to you, Tayo.
Rosanodo, yeah, very, very valid question. Well, you already answered yourself. So the person who is presiding, if not the president, is addressed as the presiding president. Is presiding, and that seat is the president's seat. So he's sitting on that seat, which is the president's seat. So he's the presiding president. You are not going to say the club the club secretary because he's the secretary, or the vice president because he's the vice president. So he or she is the presiding president.
Thank you.
That is the straight response to that.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Oui. PAG Showobi, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Okay. Yeah, the question.
Yes, they charge interest. They charge interest, but it's very, it's not like the regular interest. And this is because they have partnership with a bank, a microfinance bank. And this interest, by the time they just want to make sure they are serious about it, and by the time they are bringing back the money with the interest, they give it back to them to add to the money that they were giving to continue with the business. So every year it comes like that. It's a way of showing commitment. They don't really take it from them. They take it and give it back to them. That look, this is 5 shillings you have brought back, or you're supposed to have brought back 5 shillings, plus the money we gave you. We give it back to you to continue with the business. Bring another one back next time. So that was the explanation they gave us anyway. For the charge some kind of interest, which is still not interest in a way.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If I may just also add, you see, it depends on the concept of your macro credit scheme. At times, the interest that is charged is like what we call handling charges, just to ensure, one, it could be that they want to ensure that the people that collect the loan apply it and are serious about it, so that they don't just think it's free money. Or it could be the fact that the microfinance bank, for instance, that is handling it, you need some expertise, just taking what we call minute interest, just to handle the bookkeeping and all sorts of the other activities they need to do, but not the typical interest that you get in bank, usually maybe 2%, 3% maximum. That's the kind of interest that I believe they do charge. Yeah. Any other question or comment? Questions, comment? Okay. Who else? Hello?
Good morning.
Oh, okay. Yes, Lizzie from Ikorodu, I think also. Please ask your question.
All right. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone. Sir, sorry, I had the
Please,
network issues. That my
sorry.
question is this, sir. Are you hearing me, sir?
Yes, go ahead.
Right. My question is this: the last person that spoke before said, in addressing the spouses during meetings.
Yes.
My question is this: what happens when? How do you address a Rotarian spouse that is not a Rotarian? Is it also important we recognize the spouse that is not a Rotarian, or we just give a general greeting, sir? Thank you. That's my question.
Okay, over to you, PG Adelaja.
Well, Rotary and Lizzie,
Yeah.
if you know the place, thank you very much for your question. If you know the place of the spouse, you will know that sometimes the spouse can even be more important than the person who is sitting on that seat. You know, so can be more important than the person who is sitting on that seat. Yes, whether the spouse is a Rotarian or otherwise, it is very, very important. If you are addressing the Rotarian who is sitting, like the DG or the president, if you are attending the DG, for instance, now, my district governor and his able spouse is important. Otherwise, the DG will not have food to eat at home when he gets back home for that day. So it is very, very, it doesn't matter whether they are Rotarians or not. You just have to, because, two is one when it comes to Rotary in this case. Yeah. So it's a joint ticket. They are on it together, the DG and the wife. Number of places that the DG had gone to, the number of clubs he has visited, the number of activities he has attended, and you have seen the wife with him every time, every minute. So the least you can do to say thank you to such a spouse is adequate recognition as at when necessary. Okay?
All right, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And if, for instance, maybe to add to what PG Adelaya said, if, for instance, you have spouses or wives or husbands in the meeting, and not the wife or the husband of the sitting president or the governor, what you do is that within that protocol thing, when you say the Rotaractors, up to when you get to that, you can say our spouses. So you've taken everybody together, you've recognized them, guests and gentlemen of the press. So you understand? If that is the area you are trying to look at, that will just take care of that. I'm also seeing Rotarian election Coyote.
Hello, DLF.
Yes. Oh,
Please,
my DG. Yes, please.
Yeah,
please.
My hands are the hub.
You have, sorry, I saw it. I thought it was a mistake. My DG, please, you are recognized. Please.
Because I may have to be out of the meeting immediately once I'm approaching the place I'm going to.
Okay.
And again, I have also a comment.
Please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead. You take both together.
Also relates to even the district leaders and presidents trying to now. So trying to relate to the president or even some of our leaders, where they will want to recognize themselves by their profession first at Rotarian gathering. I've seen an invitation done by a club that was saying engineer Rotarian so of the Rotary Club of so. This is inappropriate. Also, I've also seen a district leader writing letters using Rotary letterhead saying, I am engineer first. Slow down now. I am back somewhere. I am engineer somebody, now putting Rotarian in bracket. This is a very inappropriate way of using Rotary salutation and protocol when you are writing. When you are writing on behalf of Rotarian or are in the position capacity of a Rotarian, your title will sort of whatever you have achieved will have to come after Rotarian so or DG so. The Rotary title must come first before any other title. And you at no point should you put Rotary title in bracket. Say for instance, you want to say you will never see the DG 9111 write Dr. Rotarian. It will have to be Rotarian. Then put doctor in bracket or put it all together. Because in this clan, you are representing Rotary, not your own profession. That is one observation I want us to take away since we are teaching protocol today. Then the second one is the issue, is my closing remark. I want to sincerely thank the two facilitators that have facilitated us today. They have seriously impacted us, and I'm very sure every Rotarian that has joined for this meeting has benefited immensely. It has refreshed us and has also impacted us. I sincerely thank PAG Uyishuobi, the Deputy District Learning Facilitator, and PAG Tayo Adelaja, the immediate past District Executive Secretary, for their impactful presentation. This will form my closing remark, and I thank you. I'm already at where I should be received, so I just need to do this so that I can opt out of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so much, District Governor. I think we'll be rounding up in another 5 minutes, but I could see Rotarian election. If you are still on, you can ask your question. We just have to release the District Governor because he's attending to an official visit to Rotary Club of Ikene about now. So he needed to do that and excuse us. Rotary election, are you still on?
Yes, I'm on. Can you hear me?
Yes, ask your question, sir.
Let me start by PTG Shodibo.
Yes.
Yeah, please. Let me start by commending this enlightenment. I missed the first part, but I think I meet up with the presentation of PAG Tayo Adelaja. And my question is also directed to that direction on protocol. I would like to know, under what do we put appearance at meetings? Should it come under protocol? Is there any particular appearance that a Rotarian should have at a meeting in terms of your dressing and everything? Should it come under protocol, or it is guided under another part of rules of Rotary? Thank you very much.
Yeah, over to you, TY.
Well, ideally, no doubt we shouldn't go too far about it. Appearance is actually part of protocol, because without even uttering a word, your appearance at any event has said so much about you and about that kind of event, right? So we cannot belabor it so much. However, Rotary as because of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and what have you, so many things have been watered down, for wanting of a better word. Now, for instance, so many things have been watered down. In those days, what we hear about Rotary, right, particularly here in Nigeria, my club, for instance, you can't come without a tie, right? You can, if at the time, I even heard that you cannot even wear normal Dubai Shokoto like this senator that we wear today. It has to be complete agbada. So imagine having to do that on a weekly basis, right? They were able to do it then. But I honestly cannot relate with how that is going to be possible now to say it has to be complete Agbada. You know, that is why a lot of clubs have now, okay, like my club, Bagada, had stepped it down to, okay, your normal buba and shokoto. But of course, you can't wear a slippers. You still have to wear a cap. Still has to be on that. Buba and shokoto. But there are a lot of clubs that have changed so many things. So, however, right? Every person knows if he's doing what is not right. Any particular person. So permit me to just use the Yoruba phrase that says "Eni burumo." That is, if you are doing what is not right, you know. You are just waiting for somebody to tell you that what you are doing is not right. So there are some clubs, like Rotary Club of Falamo, for instance, they wear Rotary designed shirts to their meetings. So there are different things that club does. So it's important for us to still do everything we do within the limits of decency. That is all I can say. Within the limit of decency, there is a way you would appear. And I'm not going to think that I can guarantee that people can wear tie compulsorily now in coming to meeting. I'm not even sure I'm able to do that. Because in place where I work, for instance, now, to even wear tie is like an abomination any longer. And compared to like 10 years ago, some 20 years ago, even as a salesperson, that you are carrying crates of beer, you are still wearing a tie. As if it's the tie that is selling the drinks for you, you know. So a lot of things had changed, no doubt about that, because a lot of young people were encouraging them to come in and join Rotary. I mean, they can't do all this. You must not this time, you must do that. But we still imagine that anybody that is worthy of being called and addressed as a Rotarian, even if you are going to wear a shirt and trouser, there has to be a jacket on it when you are coming to meetings, except in your club like Falomo that says this is your meeting and Rotary, you wear Rotary merchandise to attend meetings and all that. So I will yield this floor to our leader, PDG Kola Shodipo, to say some words to it. But in rounding up, appearance definitely is part of protocol. Election.
Yes, thank you so much, PJ Adelaja. Yes, you are right. Appearance is certainly part of protocol. And of course, it also depends on the culture and the bylaws of your club. I know I will cite example of two clubs, Rotary Club of Ikeja and Rotary Club of Lagos. You can't just enter Rotary Club of Lagos meeting if you are not formally dressed. And formal means formal. You full suit with your tie on and all traditional agbada, the full national dress. You do that. But it also depends on the culture of your club. If your club allows you to put on buba and shokoto or the kaftan with a cap and the rest, so be it. But beyond that, it is very important as Rotarians for us to always dress properly. You can't say because you are going to a meeting and you just be in your slippers, and then just a shirt, you roll up the sleeve of your shirt and you want to attend the meeting. Just imagine if a prospective Rotarian, a prospective member visit that meeting. What he or she will take from you is that, oh, see these people, this is the way they attend their meetings, this is the way they dress to their meetings, and that may be sending a wrong signal. Yes, because of the changing times, and because Rotary also have amended the bylaws and constitution to the extent that there's some flexibility in so many things that we do now, flexibility in meeting times, flexibility in the kind of meeting types and the rest. But that does not necessarily mean we should not dress properly. I want to plead with us that we must and we should dress properly to our meetings, and properly, we all know what is proper and what should not be. That is my comments on that. Rotarian Ehi, you still have something to say?
Yes, just quick comments. My PDG, quick comments.
Yeah.
I want to take off from where our district governor, Olufemi Clement Adelekon, stop talking about titles. I know in Rotary, as part of this protocol, learning that we have today, titles are de-emphasized in Rotary. Okay, we just stay with the nomenclature Rotarian or the other titles PDG, AG, and the rest. Whether you are a doctor, Alhaji, chief, Rotary has to de-emphasize all of that. Let's just stay with the Rotary as part of the protocol, Rotarian. Now that's number one. So number two, Rotarian abbreviated to RTN. Most of us write ROTN. Is RTN. And for Rotaractors, is RTR. Okay? The other point I would like to make is, we always make the mistake of saying, my name is Rotarian Ehibrahima. That is not correct. You can either say, I am Rotarian
I don't know why it's not accessing.
I am Rotarian Ehibrahima, not my name is Rotarian Ehibrahima. And then finally, I think as part of the protocol, I don't recall my PhD. I think you mentioned where we have events, my PhD, Tayo Adelaja. When we have Rotary event where the media people are present, they should also be duly recognized. Thank you very much, my PDG.
Thank you so much. I would have been surprised if you don't mention that of gentlemen of the press. Yes, it's very important because they are also partners in the service as regards helping us to publicize our activities. Even when we do all and we don't get it publicized, it's like not doing anything. Well, it's been a wonderful morning, and I want to thank our two facilitators for today, Past Assistant Governor Uyi Showobi and Past Assistant Governor Tayo Adelaja. I thank you so much for your time, for taking time to put all those slides together, and for the excellent delivery. And of course, for also handling the various questions and comments that emanated from your presentation. Thank you so much. And of course, to my dear fellow Rotarians, the last count we had about 56 or 57 participants. Yes, it's worth the while. I want to thank you, those that have left and those that are still here. I thank you for joining us. Knowledge is something that we must continuously try to seek knowledge to improve ourselves, not only as Rotarians, but even for our own personal growth and development. It's very, very necessary. And I want to thank you for creating time this Saturday morning, first Saturday of the month, to do that. The next one comes up on the first Saturday in November, and at the same time, and of course, also on Zoom link. Enjoy the rest of Saturday. Continue to impact lives through your various services to humanity. And may God Almighty bless each and every one of us as we serve humanity without counting cost. Thank you. Good morning and have a blessed weekend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Thank you, and
everyone.
bye-bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a nice weekend.
Yeah.